Hello, and welcome to another YouTube video. It's been a while. I just haven't really had the time or energy to be able to make a proper YouTube video in a little bit. But I really do want to get back into doing more YouTube content because I do really enjoy it. I've just been super busy with all kinds of projects, commissions, and conventions, traveling. It's been a busy year. But things are starting to slow down now for a little bit. So I'm trying my best to get into doing more videos and streaming to make the most of it. So I recently finished Pocky's 20th reference sheet. I've had the character for many years. I first created her back in 2017. And yeah, I just completed her 20th ref sheet because I make a lot of reference sheets for this character for some reason. I actually finished her reference sheet on stream recently, and a lot of people were asking if I could create a montage going through all of her different reference sheets. She has many, and they vary greatly in style, and it felt like a good idea to make a video going through all of them, explaining like the changes, the differences, you know, how she's become what you see today. The character Pocky has very much evolved with me as a person over the years. As my style has developed, so has she. I feel like that is very noticeable in the reference sheets. So it felt like a good idea to make a video on this, to kind of get me back into posting on here. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. To get started, I should probably explain how I created Pocky and why she is the way she is. So to begin with, she's a red panda. Although she isn't very red, but she's a red panda. I always liked red pandas. I saw them at a zoo when I was a child, and I just really liked them as a whole. When I first joined the furry fandom, I became friendly with somebody who had a fursuit of a red panda, and I just really liked the stripe markings on the face. I don't know how to explain it, but something about them really appealed to me, and it made me inspired to create a red panda for my first persona. That's why she's a red panda. I just thought the markings were cool. And over the years, I have grown to be a lot more fond of red pandas. I already liked them, but I definitely say now they are like one of my top 5 favorite animals that exist. Her color palette was inspired by a fursuit maker that I was really fond of when I first discovered fursuits. The maker's name is Demi-Wolf Designs. I sadly haven't seen much from them in many years now. But I very much am a fan of their work and the just style and cleanliness of their suits. It really does appeal to me. I first found their work through a suit that they had made of a yellow cat, and I really loved how bold the yellow color was, that I took inspiration from that into creating my character Pocky. I really wanted a yellow character just because on fursuits I thought it looked so bold and creative. I didn't see many yellow fursuits at the time as well, so I thought it would make my character a little bit more unique. I first started sketching Pocky, and I wasn't really sure about the colors. I wanted to go with the yellow, but it was really hard for me to come up with a good pairing for that yellow. I came up with a few different ideas, and even toyed with the idea of making her blue. I actually showed both of these designs to my mum, and asked her which one she preferred. And she liked the blue one, but something about the yellow one still appealed to me. Even though the colors I felt were not really my style, I still liked them, and I'm glad I stuck with them. So, after creating that first little headshot of Pocky, I started working on her very first reference sheet. And you can see, this is very different to how I draw today. My very first furry drawings were inspired a lot by the fursuits, as that's what drew me into the fandom to begin with. So, this reference sheet was basically just my idea of a fursuit ref. I didn't really know how else to draw furries, so I just tried drawing a fursuit. And I think it's very obvious immediately, her design is very different. Her markings and colors are a little different, still mostly the same, but a little bit different. Her ears are different design-wise. She's missing the little pointy bit I don't know what to call it. It's a little tuft on the ears that you see. She doesn't really look like Pocky in this ref sheet. And fun fact, when I first created Pocky, she wasn't called Pocky. She was actually called Limone, because I did not know what to call her, and I saw yellow and was trying to come up with something citrusy sounding. I quickly decided I did not like the name Limone. I don't know why I called her that, it's so not a name that I enjoy. But after wrecking my brain for ideas, I stumbled upon a box of Pocky on my desk and called her Pocky instead. Very creative process, I know. So yeah, that is Pocky's very first reference sheet. I don't really know what else to say about this ref sheet other than it's just very different, and it is the very first rendition of Pocky. It's just like one of those memes, you know, if you don't like me at my you don't deserve me at my I don't know the words, but a meme come to mind. It's funny. Bah bah bah. This is Pocky's second reference sheet. Again, you can see the style shift here quite drastically. I was starting to learn how to draw furries now. I was no longer like relying on fursuit styles to create my drawings for furries. I was shifting a little bit more into like the kimono anime-esque style. And I was trying to create a bit more of like an anthro red panda. So not really humanoid, but more like a red panda on two legs. She's starting to look a bit more like the Pocky you see today, but still quite different. Also changed her body markings in this one, which I don't know why I changed her markings to be like this, because looking back, it looks like a mankini. All I think of when I see this ref sheet's Borat, just because of the markings on the body. But yeah, it's like kind of an interesting progression. I think there's only a few months between this one and the first ref, and you can see how I was trying to, you know, find my style of drawing furries that wasn't just drawing like fursuits. So it's fun to look back and see, and you can see as well the facial markings have changed. They're starting to look a lot more like the Pocky you see today. There's still a lot of differences, but she's looking a lot more like Pocky. So this brings us then on to ref sheet number 3. And there is a big time jump between the last reference sheets in 2017 and this one that was created in 2020. So I didn't really use Pocky for a long time after 2017. 3 years I didn't use the character. And there wasn't really any specific reason. I didn't like dislike the character or anything like that. I was just experimenting with lots of different characters in this time, and those who know me from way back when I used to be more active on Facebook will remember I did go through a lot of different like personas. And in 2020 I went to my very first furry convention, Nordic FuzzCon. And immediately, I mean, as I'm sure many people who have been to furry cons can relate, seeing all those fursuits, I really wanted a fursuit. And I originally was going to commission them to create a different red panda character, which I no longer own, so I won't show in this video. But after they quoted me, I suddenly thought to myself, I have a red panda character that's different than this, and actually would look very nice in their style. So I quickly sketched up this reference sheet for Pocky, which again, you can see a drastic style change. And this was like the new rendition of Pocky, again, a lot similar to the Pocky you see today. And I threw it to them and said, hey, can you please make me a fursuit of this character? And they accepted. In hindsight, it was very odd of me to commission a fursuit of a character I hadn't used in many years. Like, I hadn't touched the character Pocky since 2017. So, a little bit odd that I randomly decided to commission a fursuit of the character that I hadn't used, but I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to. So, the next reference sheet, I think this was also made in 2020. This was when I was trying to flesh out the character a bit more for my fursuit maker, because I needed to create them a proper reference sheet to work from. And here, again, you can see she's slowly starting to look more and more like Pocky. She now has her little triangle-y, pointy out ear bit thing. I don't know what to call it. It's like a tuft of fur that red pandas have on their ears that creates this unique shape. Her tail has gone from having 3 green stripes to having 2 white stripes, which you can see on my tail now, is how her tail still is today. Yeah, so she's definitely well on her way to being the Pocky we know today. On this reference sheet, I gave her some different arm markings. So I tried to take, again, lots of inspiration from the actual red panda species, and I tried to give her these long arm and leg markings, similar to how red pandas have very dark, like arms and undersides. I didn't want like a black front on Pocky because I thought that would be too dark for the character. But I did want her to still look like a red panda, so I gave her these long markings to kind of really put emphasis on her being a red panda. And I sent this to my fursuit maker, and this is what they made my fursuit based on. So this is the fursuit made by Angel Tigress. I commissioned them, like I said, back in 2020. I think they finished it later that year, or the next year? I can't remember. It was a while ago. But that was the very first fursuit I commissioned of Pocky, and I really love this suit. I still love this suit. It has been retired now. It's just sat in my basement until I find something to do with it. But it's such a great fursuit, and it was really fun to be able to wear this to conventions, and wearing this fursuit was the very first time I was recognized at a convention. I think it was Eurofurence 2022 was the first convention that I wore this suit to, and being recognized as my character was such an insane experience. I'd never had that happen to me before, so it really meant a lot to have this fursuit, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to commission the maker to make them. So that's all I have to say about this reference sheet and the fursuit. On to the next reference sheet. This is ref sheet number 5. I don't remember exactly when this reference sheet was made. I'm gonna have to go back through when editing this video to put the dates in for your reference, but as recording this, I cannot remember. But you can immediately see that this is where Pocky you see today really starts to shine through. So she's still a little different, but not really much. She's still Pocky. She has, like, the markings have changed again, where it's no longer the big leg and arm markings. Now it's like kind of just from the knee and shoulder down, knee and elbow down rather. She just looks a lot more like herself. This is also when I started to draw Pocky in a green hoodie. You can see the original hoodie had like avocado toast on it. There was some hoodie that was going around advertised that had this design on it. I don't remember who was selling it, but I thought it was a really fun design. I actually bought it, and it turned out to be a really cheap, printed, horrible feeling hoodie. But that hoodie I really liked to draw Pocky in, so I just started adding this hoodie to her ref sheet and her like artwork in general. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this reference sheet. Other than this is just where I feel that Pocky really started to take shape. And that brings us on to ref sheet number 6. Not much has changed again, it's mostly just my art style that is shifting. You can see on this ref sheet, however, that the hoodie is now just a green hoodie. It's still like an olive green hoodie, it's not like the bright green you see today. But it stopped being the avocado toast hoodie and has become just a green hoodie. This is where I first started to make note that Pocky is androgynous. Pocky is meant to be an androgynous character because me as a person, I don't really like to be feminine representing, nor do I like to be male representing. I kind of like that in between. And as Pocky is, you know, a representation of me, I like to reflect that in the character. So she is still female. But you know, just I'd never really draw her with big eyelashes or very shapely or anything like that. So this is the first ever ref sheet where I feel like I really started to kind of express that side of myself with the love of being more androgynous and gender neutral, I guess. Yeah. Ref sheet number 7. So this one again, not much has changed. The reference sheet itself is still pretty similar to the past reference sheets we've seen of Pocky. Again, mostly all that's changed here is the art style. One of her outfits changed. Now she has like my winter outfit, which is, you know, a beanie, a hoodie, and some like jogger pants bottoms. Her hoodie has become a bit more of a brighter green. It's less of the like unsaturated olive green and has become a bit more greener. Again, I don't really know what else to say about this ref sheet other than I think it's just like a bit more Pocky. She's a bit more like toony animated in this reference sheet as opposed to her previous reference sheets. Her markings haven't really changed in this one at all that I can notice. She's Pocky. So I don't think I have anything else to say on this one. Ref sheet number 8. So if I remember correctly, around this time is also when I started to do VTubing for the very first time, because I can definitely see a similarity in this ref sheet and my very first live 2D like VTuber that I made. So again, this one you still see a style shift. It's I think quite similar still to the previous one, but you can see the difference for sure. But I can see similarities in the style of this ref sheet and my first VTuber, which if I can find it, I will put a little side by side of it just for your reference. Yeah, I don't really have anything else more to say about this ref sheet, but I do still really like this one. This is probably one of my favorites that I ever made. So this reference sheet technically isn't one that I created. I didn't know whether to include it, but this brought it up to 20, and I feel like it is important because it was kind of where Pocky's design began to shift. So Leica Palette is a fursuit maker that I commissioned. I loved their work for a very long time, and so when I got the opportunity to commission them, I commissioned them to make Pocky. And upon commissioning them, they created this partial reference sheet for the character to basically give me like a preview of how they intended to make the fursuit to look. And this I feel like is where Pocky started to shift a bit more. So her colors changed, the green became brighter, and actually during the process of commissioning this fursuit, I actually changed Pocky's hairstyle to have the little like side bang fringe, whatever you want to call it, that you see on her today. So I actually had to edit this reference sheet to add the hair tuft to it, and ask Leica Palette if they could add that to the suit so that it was, you know, relevant to the new design of Pocky. And the fursuit that Leica Palette made, I absolutely adore it. It's such a well-made fursuit. I think it's just the perfect rendition of Pocky made into a fursuit. I'm so glad that I actually was able to commission them. I get so many compliments on the suit whenever I'm at cons. Highly recommend Leica Palette if you enjoy their style. I will say they're not the cheapest of makers, but well worth the money you pay. But yeah, this is the fursuit of Pocky, so if you ever see this suit running around at cons, it's most likely me. But yeah, I didn't know whether to include this in the list or not, but I felt like it was really relevant that it needed to be in the list of the ref sheets, and it does bring the total up to 20. Without it, it would be 19. So I threw it in there because, yeah, like I said, this is kind of again where Pocky started to shift a little bit. So this is ref sheet number 10. I think actually I created this before I got the Leica Palette one. I think actually I created this ref sheet and I sent it to Leica Palette. This is before Pocky's hairstyle did change. So I think, yeah, I definitely created this before the last one, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, so this ref sheet I think is really where you start to see again, like the green has become brighter, and Pocky's green hoodie that I draw her in a lot of the time has become a lot more like relevant on the reference sheet. Even like noted that she always likes to wear the green hoodie. So I think this is where like again the Pocky you see today really is like shining through now. All she's missing really is her hairstyle is different. But otherwise not really much else changed on this reference sheet. It's again just kind of my style evolving throughout the years on these. She still looks very similar to the previous reference sheets that we looked at, so I don't really have much else to say about this one. So we will move on to ref sheet number 11. So this is like quite a different reference sheet to the previous ones we've been looking at, because the rest all kind of look vaguely similar. This one is partly shaded, which I regret. I do feel like it only gets worse from here because I'm pretty sure I shaded a lot of reference sheets of Pocky, so oops. But this one, Pocky is a bit more animated in the reference sheet overall, I feel. She's now wearing the hoodie in the center of the reference sheet. I feel like she hasn't really changed again much. It's mostly the art style that changed quite drastically, I feel, on this one. She still hasn't got her new hairstyle yet, but everything else looks pretty like on par for Pocky, I would say. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this one, so we'll move on to 12. This one, you can see there's a big shift in the style here. I don't really know what happened to my style. You can see like my style changes a lot throughout these reference sheets. It actually features my boyfriend Ennie's character on this one as well, which is really cute. I like that. But yeah, she very much just looks like Pocky in this one. Her hairstyle still hasn't been updated yet. It just has like, I feel like this one has a lot of personality. I like the tooniness of it. I feel like it's just like a lot more like outgoing and fun looking than the previous ones. I like this ref sheet. It's goofy. I like it. Let's move on to ref sheet number 13. So again, this one, the style changes again. Like, it's kind of crazy to me looking back at these ref sheets to see how different my style is ref sheet to ref sheet. I really like the chibi on this one. I think it's really silly and goofy. I don't know, I like this style of ref sheet a lot. It's really fun and like bubbly. It is shaded, which again, sorry, I don't know why I shaded a lot of ref sheets of Pocky. But I like this ref sheet a lot. I have my little optimists in the top and my camera. It's like a fun, like, it's not really an experimental, I don't feel, but like, it's just a fun, expressive reference sheet for the character. And again, she hasn't changed her hairstyle yet, but I do really like this ref sheet. I think it's a fun, goofy one. So ref sheet number 14. This one is quite a style shift yet again. It's very heavily shaded, so I apologize for that. I have learned not to shade my reference sheets. This one, I feel like Pocky's face is a lot more feminine. She has like little lashes. Her hair is a lot more messy, like scrunkly, I feel. But looks a bit more like softer as well at the same time, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this one. I do like the background on this one because it's like a bluey gradient with the orb pattern I created in the background. I do like the way I drew the name Pocky on this one too. It's just like, I think it's like a fun reference sheet for the character. Not as fun, I feel, as the previous one we looked at, but I still very much like this one. So this is the next reference sheet, and you can see this is where the new hairstyle for Pocky came in, and there's a bit of a style shift again. This is again, I'm sorry, another heavily shaded reference sheet. I don't really do this on my reference sheets anymore, but around this time I did like to shade them. I feel like this is just like an updated version of the previous one with a bit of a style shift, but overall is very, very similar to the last ref sheet. I don't feel like much has changed here, though this is where I think I first started to draw Pocky with the more brown instead of the black markings. Because those markings are actually black, but for artwork I feel like it looks better if I draw them brown. though you'll see on any fursuits and products I get made of Pocky, they are usually black. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this ref sheet. I just regret how heavily shaded it is, but I do like the style of it. I think it's fun. It's still very similar to the last one we looked at. But yeah, ref sheet number 16, I think. This one, I didn't shade. I learned my lesson and I did not shade this one. This one, again, it looks a lot more like Pocky you see today now. The black has become brown on this one. Her hairstyle, I mean, I feel like her hairstyle is a bit like heavy on this rendition of Pocky, but she still very much looks like the Pocky you see today. Her outfits are still very similar. Now she's looking a bit more thick. This is me trying to put a little bit more of myself into the character. She's very fluffy looking in this ref sheet. I don't really know what else to say other than I feel like her ears are really big in this ref sheet. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this one. Ref sheet number 17. This ref sheet is probably one of my all-time favorites I've done for the character. This one, you can see, has is a lot easier to read, I feel, than the previous ones. Her hairstyle looks a lot more natural, I guess. I don't know how to put it, but it doesn't look as heavy on her head as the previous ones. She has pretty much everything the same as the previous ref sheets, I guess. But this one is like a front and back ref as opposed to a 3/4 angle reference sheet like the others we've been looking at. I will note on this one that it says on the pronouns they, them. So for a while I was considering if I was non-binary. I'm not a very feminine person. I never have been. I always considered myself more of a tomboy. So in this ref sheet I was experimenting with my gender identity and started to refer to Pocky as non-binary. Which you can see reflected in the pronouns. This is reference sheet number 18, which again, you can see a big style shift here, I feel. Nothing major, really, just the general kind of attitude and the body type I draw for Pocky here. I'd say it's still quite similar to the previous reference sheet for the most part, but Pocky's tail in this one has become shorter because I decided that a long fursuit tail wasn't really working out for me. You can see on this reference sheet that Pocky is now going by she, they as opposed to they, them. This is again just some of my gender identity being reflected into the character. I don't really have anything else to say on that other than, yeah, it's just me kind of going through my personal process and discovering a bit about myself. And that's just reflected, yeah, into the character Pocky. I just like this reference sheet overall. I really like the colors of it. The way it's all laid out. I think it's very easy to read, it's very clean. You have little notes all around the reference sheet to make it very apparent how I hope for people to interpret her. Yeah, I don't really know, again, what else to say on this one, but I do really like this ref sheet. Moving on to this reference sheet number 19 was created not too long ago. This is when I started doing some world building for Pocky. Yeah, this ref sheet has a decent amount to talk about on it. I really started wanting to create a little world for Pocky and some of my other characters. I don't want to get too much into the lore of everything. Maybe at some point I'll make a future video going over my world building for this one. But on this reference sheet, you can see Pocky has gotten a new fit. She's gotten this new kind of tech wear style design, which I really like. I think it's very cool and very unique. She now has an orb drone companion, and she now has a little job description, which is a concept artist and solar kit assembler. Solar kits are part of the world and lore building that I had been doing. Again, maybe in a future video I'll go over it, but I don't want to go over it in this video. But yeah, her tail is still short in this one. She doesn't have the regular green hoodie in this one at all. She has this new outfit design. Yeah, still kind of similar style-wise to the previous reference sheet. Some things are a little different, but overall the reference sheet itself is quite similar in design. But yeah. And this brings us to reference sheet number 20, created just this past week by me. In this one you can see Pocky has a long tail again. This is because I kept finding myself drawing Pocky with a long tail, and I decided screw it, I'll suffer through having a long tail on my fursuit, because I just like it too damn much. Pocky's outfit that I just created for her has changed a little bit. So you can see in outfit B, she has the jacket, but it's now open with shorts and a t-shirt. What I'm wearing on my VTuber right now. I really like the outfit. I think I'll probably keep the other reference sheet we just looked at as basically a lore-based outfit. This one is a bit more for just the character, like as I use them. So she has her green hoodie, she has her new outfit, and she even has some comfy outfit. I think this is just a bit more of the personal character expression reference sheet versus the other ref sheet, which is, I think, a bit more like, you know, directed to the world building and lore aspect of the character. I really like this reference sheet. I am biased because I literally just finished this one. Knowing my luck, in probably a month or two I'll hate it and create another one because I'm like that. But I really like this reference sheet because I feel like it just shows the character probably in the best light that I've drawn them in a while. It's very clear and concise. You can easily see the character, the attitude. I don't know. I really like this reference sheet. It really appeals to me. But again, I'm probably just biased because I did just complete this reference sheet this week. But this is Pocky's ref number 20, the 20th reference sheet. A whole, what is that, like 6-7 years since I first created the other reference sheet in 2017. Wait, hang on, I gotta do math a second. Seven years, unless I'm really stupid at math, which is quite possible. 7 years later, and I'll put a side by side so you can see the difference in styles of reference sheet between the very first rendition of Pocky and the most latest. It's really crazy to me to look back at these ref sheets and just see how far I've come, both like in my personal like expression, the character design, and the art style overall. It's just insane to me to see how far I've come. It means so much to me that people enjoy my character, because I don't know, it's just, she's a part of me at this point, and I really don't know where I would be without this character. I feel like she's done a lot for me and my brand overall. So it makes me so happy to be able to celebrate her 20th reference sheet with all of you. It was funny because I didn't even realize I was creating her 20th reference sheet until I was streaming it the other day, and we were counting my previous refs, and we discovered that it was in fact the 20th. So it felt really appropriate to make a video going through each and every one of them, kind of show you guys how far I've come and the character has come, and just really get myself back into creating some YouTube content, because like I said, I've really missed this. I've wanted to do this all year. This was supposed to be the year that I was gonna get back into posting regularly on YouTube, but I just gotten so busy with all the traveling and the work and convention prep, I couldn't do it. But I'm really trying to get my head down. I remade my Patreon, which you should definitely consider checking out. Got some very interesting future projects that are being previewed on there. Wink wink. I can't wink with my VTuber, but yeah. I really just hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and please do, you know, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos or things you want me to do videos on or talk about, please do just, you know, let me know, because it means a lot to me to know what you want to see from me. But I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who supports me, all of my patrons. You guys are absolutely insane. I really couldn't do this stuff without you guys, so please, if you do enjoy what I do and want to support me, consider checking out the Patreon. We got some cool stuff up there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a very good day, and I will see you all next time.